Q&A. Again, I'm Doug Nesbitt, Director of Affordable Finance and Fair Lending for CMG. And again, welcome to the HomeFundIt training for loan officers and real estate agents. So let's get rolling. A little bit about CMG for those of you who aren't familiar with the company. A lot of realtors jumping on this call usually. Founded in 1993 by Chris George. He's our president and CEO. Recently the chairman of the Mortgage Bankers Association, 2018, 2019, I think. Large privately held mortgage bank, just got a little bit bigger with the acquisition of Homebridge Mortgage. And we're a top 15 lender. I think we're 30, it's hard to tell now with Homebridge coming in, 30 to 40 billion in mortgages annually. Loan officers coast to coast, full range of lending products that you might expect from a top lender, plus 2 proprietary programs that you can't get anywhere else. The all-in-one loan, the most powerful loan on the planet. Loan I have on my house, it'll change the way you think about mortgages and your money. And HomeFundIt, which will change the lives of first-time buyers that you meet. And your life as well, because it has huge power for building your business. We'll talk a lot about that today. So 2 things that you have to remember with HomeFundIt. One is for your buyer, one is for you. For your buyer, it solves the #1 problem that they have, which is coming up with enough money for a down payment. Every first-time buyer I've met could use a bigger down payment, and so can yours. This is what it does. It works on that down payment. Largely for first-time buyers, although the program can be used by anybody. First-time buyers kind of tend to be the ones that are, need help from outside, and that's what HomeFundIt's good at. The other thing HomeFundIt is good at is retaining long-range buyers. We meet all kinds of folks who want to become homeowners. In fact, I was talking with a top real estate agent yesterday, and he was like, look, Doug, as a real estate agent, we can really manage 3, maybe 5 if we're really good buyers at the same time. The rest of them are sort of outside the main part of the funnel, and we kind of don't know what to do with them until they're really ready to buy a house and they're really going active. And that's the challenge, is how do you hang on to those folks who are really outside your active working client mix? All kinds of people who want to be homeowners down the line, who are taking a break, stepping back, working on some issues, life issues sometimes. And how do you hold on to those folks that are further up the funnel? Well, HomeFundIt is phenomenal at doing that. And that's one of the real advantages to using this program for you as a professional. So are you targeting first-time home buyers? You are, I guarantee it. 82% of millennials want to buy a home, and 2 out of 3 prospective home buyers walking around out there today is a first-time buyer statistically. But you don't see them in the market because current home buyers, it's about 26%. In fact, I just saw the update on that number yesterday. 26% of current home buyers, first-time buyers. The drop-off is caused because it takes people on average, according to the National Association of Realtors, 3 to 5 years to come up with a down payment. Right? They scrimp and save and eat top ramen and all kinds of things to get there. And that's why these prospective buyers, is a whole lot more of them than there are actual first-time buyers in the marketplace. So if you can help people get ready sooner and stronger, they're going to make a sooner, stronger buyer, which means you're going to get paid sooner. So this is a huge opportunity if you can help people with that down payment. We know they're struggling because, we read headlines, high home prices, rising rents, student debt. We're in the business. We know these things. Student debt's a bigger issue now than it has been in the past. In fact, again, all these things slow up the ability to raise a down payment. And 70% of renters will tell you, yeah, that's why I haven't bought a house yet. I haven't come up with enough money for a down payment yet. Well, when people come up with a down payment, it's largely a solo effort. In about 25 to 40% of cases, they get help from good old bank of mom and dad. Even though under Fannie Freddie FHA guidelines, any relative can help. The reason they don't is somewhat obvious, and that is because it's kind of a hassle in the system, right? I got to come up with paper checks from those people. I got to chase down gift letters. The gift letters have to be right. Certain people can give, certain people can't give. And, I was talking with a group the other day, and they said, look, first-time buyers don't know a whole lot about down payment gifting. They might have read an article that said you can get a gift from parents or whatever, but how you do that is a total mystery to people until a loan officer, or in many cases a real estate agent, advises them on how down payment gifting works and how a gift letter is supposed to look and who it can come from. And it's all very inconvenient. And by then it's getting kind of late, right? By the time you're sitting down with the pros, you're kind of in house hunting mode. So then it gets back to just mom and dad helping with the down payment. In many cases, you can't chase down all those relatives and get them to help. And it's kind of a hassle anyway, because I got to chase down paper checks and gift letters and do this right. And grandma didn't sign that right. All kinds of things make it very inconvenient to your buyer. Actually excludes all those people who could potentially help. And that's where we built HomeFundIt. We said, forget that. Let's do this online like we do everything else. Let's make it so people can donate to a down payment with a debit card or a credit card, no offline paperwork, just a few clicks, and all of those people can now step up and, yeah, this is easy. I can help you with your down payment by simply giving you some money with my credit card. No offline paperwork. I get mileage for it. It's pretty cool. And in fact, on HomeFundIt, anyone can give to the down payment. Friends, teammates, coworkers, wedding guests. That's a huge one. And people can give up to $5,000 per donor. There's no maximum on how much they can raise on the campaign. And 100% of the money that gets raised comes through to the purchase. So we don't take any commissions or hidden costs or credit card fees or anything like that. All the money is theirs. And it works with any loan program except for HFA, bond, local DPA type programs. So Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, all in one. Home Possible, 3% down. Home Ready, 3% down. Choice Renovation. All of those programs work with HomeFundIt except for HFA bond programs. So couldn't be easier. And so we see people all the time reaching out to those people for help, for participation in the purchase. Would this really happen? Does this really happen? Absolutely. We see it every day of the week with HomeFundIt. Think about when you graduated from high school or college. You sent out a graduation announcement to a whole bunch of people, right? And what happened when you did that? Oh, you got presents and gifts and cards and things came back, right? There's a bunch of people who know you and love you. When you got married, you sent out a wedding invitation to a group of people, and guess what? They, without being asked, they all sent you stuff. All right, and a bunch of them flew across the country to be there for you on that day. So that's the group of people we typically see in HomeFundIt campaigns, sometimes even more. But those are the folks that are helping out when people say, hey, look, I'm buying a house. I've got this thing called HomeFundIt. I'm trying, come check it out. You can shop, you can help, and people do. And it's amazing. We see it all the time. Sets up very easily. They just go through a few simple setup screens and presto, they've got a page on the web where people can help with the down payment. They can customize the picture, the story. We've got a nice little default story that works for most people, but a lot of people modify it. Loan officer and real estate agent are both featured on the campaign page. There's a place in the upper right where people can donate. That's where you do it. And you can track the donation progress as it goes along. The second way to add funds is called Up It. It's kind of cool. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you can see where all the gifts are coming in the bottom right. We match those gifts 2 to 1. Whoops, went too far. 2 to 1 for all gifts coming in up to $2,000 or 1% of the purchase price. So most of the time it's $2,000. We call that the HomeFundIt grant or the lender credit. And that's applied at closing as a lender credit. There's only 2 requirements. 1, you have to be a first-time buyer. 2, you have to take home buyer ed prior to signing a purchase contract, which is kind of when it makes sense to do home buyer ed, right? So only 2 requirements, easy $2,000, but don't stop there. Keep bringing in as many gifts as you possibly can, but you can get up to $2,000 towards the purchase price, towards the closing costs. Again, 2 requirements: first-time buyer, home buyer ed prior to signing a purchase contract. Now we do a lot of these with Freddie Mac's Borrow Smart program. Borrow Smart is for buyers who make less than 100% of the area median income. That's a lot of first-time buyers. The overlap between these 2 programs is amazing. So our top HomeFundIt producers are our top Borrow Smart producers out there. Just because first-time buyers tend to need a little bit of help a lot of times. So it's an easy $1,000 to $2,500 depending on your income. It does require home buyer ed, $99 through Home Preservation Foundation. And that home buyer ed will count for the home buyer ed on HomeFundIt. It applies to either down payment or closing costs. So we see a lot of HomeFundIts going out with these programs stacked up to $4,500 free money. Borrow Smart uses Home Possible, which is a 3% down payment program from Freddie. That 3% down payment plus gift money coming in from family and friends plus up to $4,500 extra towards the purchase gets people there in many, many cases. So absolutely want to look and see if you can stack these two programs. I didn't talk about the Home Buyer Ed for HomeFundIt, but it's free, 1 hour over the phone. Couldn't be easier. Make sure you get it done prior to signing a purchase contract. Now that Home Buyer Ed on HomeFundIt does not count for the Borrow Smart one. So if you do the Borrow Smart program on top, you got to use the Borrow Smart Home Buyer Ed special one. But we will credit you that on HomeFundIt, so you don't have to do both. So that's the requirements there. UpIt, second way to add funds to a campaign, and you do that simply by shopping. Click here on the campaign page and it opens up a world of online retailers, about 1,000 of them, just about every store you can think of. Each one of them is rebating a certain percentage of what gets purchased back to the down payment as a pledge at closing. So it's kind of an incentive feature as well as raising extra funds for the purchase. It ranges from 1% on the low end to about 50% on the high end, depending on the store you're shopping. Walmart, I think, is 4%. Home Depot, 8% back to the down payment. Again, anyone can shop. So family, friends, loan officer, real estate agent, anybody can shop on a campaign page, UpIt, and help somebody with their down payment. Plus, we've got a handy little Chrome extension that people can install on their browsers. So, have the family and friends install a Chrome extension on their browsers, and anytime they go to any of these stores or happen to go to any of these stores accidentally, it will pop up and connect that purchase to the campaign of choice without even having to go through the campaign page. So it's pretty cool. Plus, we bonus those pledges 2 to 1, just like we bonus the gift money coming in 2 to 1 towards that $2,000 lender grant. So think of it as a second way to get to the $2,000. And once they get going, they have a campaign dashboard, and the campaign dashboard basically controls everything on their campaign. There's a nice little to-do list there. It explains how to do everything, how to customize their program, and how to upload their photos and things like that. There's sample emails there that people can use to get the word out to their family and friends. 3 little great emails, really well written. A great way to kind of let people know that they're trying this thing called HomeFundIt and they want people to come check it out. It's a very soft sell, so it's a very convenient way to kind of help them get the word out, besides the backyard barbecue, etc. Plus, if they want to share on social, they can do that. They get $10 per person per platform per day on social. So if you share it on all 3 social platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, you'd get $30. If your friend came into your campaign page, you got to share from the campaign page. Share from that campaign page, you get $10 for your friend coming in and sharing it on their social. So it's a great way to kind of get extra $10. That counts towards the $2,000 lender credit as well. So it's a great way to go. So that to-do list really helps them stay on track and get their Home Buyer Ed done and everything. Now, speaking of tracks, there are 2 tracks with HomeFundIt. One is the Freddie Mac track and the other is the non-Freddie Mac track. For all non-Freddie Mac programs, it does require seasoning. Now, there's no time limit on HomeFundIt. You can set up a campaign page and run as long as you want. Set it up as early as you want. We've got high school students that have these. We have lots of college students that have these. Just shopping with UpIt initially. They transition into fundraising anytime they want to as they get sort of closer to buying a house, starting to really get serious about it. Typically, the fundraising process takes about 4 to 12 weeks. Get yourself pre-qualified, get out and start house hunting. Make sure you get your Home Buyer Ed done prior to signing a purchase contract. That's super important to qualify for the $2,000. And then on all non-Freddie Mac deals, it does require seasoning. So you want to dump those funds in your bank account so they can start seasoning. There's an ACH button on the campaign dashboard that lets them do that. And how long is seasoning? You guys know it's 2 bank statements generally. Sometimes it's 1 on FHA, depending on the findings. But generally assume it's 2 bank statements. So they got to start early and get those funds raised and then, get the funds in their bank account. Usually people, if they're serious about buying the house, they're planning ahead well, then they're getting those, they have plenty of time to get those funds raised and get out there. 60 days of house hunting is not unheard of, right? So that's important to do that. And you get your $2,000 lender credit at closing plus money from UpIt shopping, etc. Now, if for some reason you don't have time to season those funds ahead of the purchase, you can leave them in your campaign until after closing and just pull those funds via ACH after closing. You can't use them in the transaction, but you can use them for paint, carpet repairs, upgrades, things like that. After closing, you still qualify for the $2,000. Now with Freddie Mac deals, we have a special relationship there. You can fundraise right down to the very end and do your up-its to get started maybe, and then transition into fundraising when you're ready. Fundraise all the way down to closing. Make sure you get your home buyer ed done before you get into contract, and submit your loan app, get your loan closed. $2,000 plus up-it dollars plus those gift funds that you collected. Those are wired at closing. So it couldn't be easier. It's really the best way to go if you can swing it. Freddie Mac. Program stats to date. We've seen tons of these campaigns come through of all different sizes and shapes. Big loans, small loans, strong buyers, not as quite strong buyers. It just ranges all over the place. There's no income limits for HomeFundIt. So we've seen all kinds of loans. No loan type limits except for HFA bond programs. Top 10 campaigns. Of course, we've seen some whoppers because there are no upper limits on how much people can raise. That completely depends on who they're talking to and who their network is. What I would say the sweet spot campaign is 5 to 15,000, 5 to 15 donors, and that's for a good-looking, well-shared campaign. Nice photo, nice story, and get the word out, right? Because remember, in the old scenario, you were getting one check from mom and dad. If it's a one donation campaign, we see those. We grit our teeth. And really it hasn't helped the buyer that much, and really importantly, it hasn't helped you that much. And I'm going to talk a lot about that here in a second. So with the sweet spot campaign are where people talk about it to their family and friends, and guess what happens? It very quickly jumps to 5 to 15 donors, 5 to 15,000. Those range a little bit, but we can see a campaign that's been shared a mile away because all of a sudden all these donors are showing up. And that's what we see all the time. This is a great example of one of those. A couple had already gotten married. They went back to the same list of people that came to their wedding. They actually only thought their parents would give, and instead 13 people gave almost 11,000, just like that. And again, a good looking campaign, good photo, good story. But the important thing was they told some people, right? And remember, those 13 people now know about HomeFundIt. They know about you, the real estate agent. They know about you, the loan officer. And they've been to those pages where you're featured, and they've helped with that purchase. They helped their friend buy a house with this cool thing called HomeFundIt. And guess what? Those 13 people all go out and tell their friends about this program that you have. That's the referral power of HomeFundIt. Super important to realize that. And we've realized that in the last year how powerful this is. In a normal purchase, there's only 4 people on stage, and you're hoping to get some referrals from the buyer down the line. Well, that's nice, but with HomeFundIt, you've got 13 donors, in this case, that we were just showing, who all were part of helping their friend buy a house with this cool thing called HomeFundIt, with this cool realtor that had this program, with this cool loan officer that had this program, right? They were part of the transaction. They were on stage 2 helping their friend buy a house or their relative buy a house. They're all talking to their networks about how this unique thing out there allowed them to help much more easily. And we see huge referral business coming in from the agents and loan officers who are doing HomeFundIt. They almost always say, oh yeah, this is a referral from a donor, a friend of a donor who donated to my other campaign. And we see that all the time with HomeFundIt. So this network effect is really powerful. To make the network effect happen, you have to give your buyer time, right? You can't say, here, we're buying a house next week. It's Tuesday night. We're making an offer on Friday. Make sure you go out and tell all your family and friends tonight. That's not going to happen, right? So start campaigns early. Let them work it into their lives in a comfortable way. They can talk about it at the backyard barbecue. They can talk it when grandma comes to visit next time. Start them as soon as you know they're dreaming of buying a house. That is the best day to start one. Why? Because it gives them time to put this donor network together. Why is that important? Well, obviously a bigger down payment, but for you, network effect, downstream referrals. Super important to start early to let them have time to set that up for you. And that's what we're finding with HomeFundIt. The average duration on a HomeFundIt campaign has gone from 30 days when we launched this thing years ago to now somewhere closer to 4 months. That's an average, right? And we have campaigns all the time now that are a year, year and a half, sometimes even 2 years old. And some of those are bringing in all kinds of donors because they've had time to kind of talk to people about it along the way. So hope you see that, because that's probably one of the most important things I can share with you today. The campaigns are generally focused around family. The one on the right was a $32,000 campaign. I think total amount in on that one is about 40 with the extras. Fantastic, focus for most of these campaigns is family. We see more and more campaigns focused around a wedding because the word is out about how big a strategy this is. Wedding expos, I think every weekend now that we're supporting for the next, I can't tell you how many weekends coming up, with backdrops, pop-up banners, tables. So if you're planning one of these, make sure you start early working with our marketing department. We've got great flyers, let your wedding guests help you with your down payment. The word is that the tables are mobbed because look, people have all this stuff these days. And so it's a very easy pitch to say, why are you doing a traditional registry so that you can get more stuff? If you want to buy a house, which is, if that's a goal for you, then do a HomeFundIt instead, right? Let your wedding guests help you with the down payment. And what wedding guest wouldn't rather help with a down payment than buy a air fryer that's going to work out or get recalled down the line, right? So it's a fantastic strategy for you to build your business. Wedding expos are crawling with future home buyers. And for that reason, I know several loan officers that have wedding expos booked probably for the next 4 or 6 weeks. The person doing the wedding is putting a QR code leading to their campaign page in their save the date announcement, QR code in their wedding announcement, leads to their campaign page. Wedding guests are happy. Newlyweds are happy. It's just a fantastic strategy all around. So consider that one. It's a huge one. Next gen buyer. This is another huge strategy. This is where people are tapping their client lists for clients who have dependents that are approaching home buying age. They're still in college. They're starting that first job. It's the perfect time to set them up on a HomeFundIt campaign. Again, you're not in control of the timelines for these people, but what you are in control of is when you get the relationship started. And it allows you to reach up the funnel and put that person in your pipeline today. So talk to your older clients about this program. What you're looking at here, at the bottom of the screen is a young lady, Mackenzie Grumble. She's a daughter of a real estate agent, actually, the guy in the purple shirt in this campaign. He had found out about it from one of our loan officers, came home, was talking to his daughter. She said, well, just go ahead and set that up now. She was a junior in college still, graduated from college, put a QR code here leading to this campaign page. And if you can see the title on the campaign page, it says diploma, check, job, check, house, pending. And she said, look, if you're going to give me anything for graduation, I'd much rather have a little help with my down payment. And by the way, every dollar you give me is worth $3 because I get a 2-to-1 match. So she had her house by November, 20 donors to the campaign. And again, it's a way to help somebody get started earlier. She was over a year from buying a house when she started her campaign, but it didn't matter, right? And she was in the pipeline at that point. And yeah, it was her dad, of course, but the same thing can happen for anybody, right? So that's the advantage of talking to your clients who have dependents and bringing them the news about this program. Because what client wouldn't want that phone call from you, right? To hear about that program. Real estate agent portal. How do you get this out there to your buyers? Real estate agent portal, Realtor portal is really the best starting point for a HomeFundIt campaign. It's got your branding in it. It's got marketing materials, super easy to set up, and it doesn't cost anything. It's got your branding, as I said. It's got your picture and your contact information. It's got a big green button where your buyer sets up and starts a HomeFundIt campaign. It's going to be linked to you and your loan officer. And it's got an Ask a Question panel so people can get back in touch with you, video that explains how the program works, and it's got a showcase. So as campaigns get set up, they appear right on your portal there, and people can kind of check them out. They can actually go right into them from there. Now, if you're in one of the 40 states that allow it, allow you to help with closing costs, you can do a dollar-for-dollar match up to however much that you want, and you can cap it at whatever amount you want. There's some great reasons to do it. Obviously, it incentivizes your buyer to go out and talk to more people. That's good for you, right? Because referral value. So it incentivizes them there. Second is it's a good retention tool because the more they raise, the more your match is. And then thirdly, you're getting free advertising because anytime somebody donates to the campaign, there goes your match right there. And again, you can control it. You're not putting any dollars in until closing, just like you normally would. It just makes it kind of more public and you get some extra benefits from it. There are 7 testimonial videos inside your portal. Just go to the marketing section and you'll see all those videos there. They're really cool because they have your branding automatically applied to the testimonial video. So when you send it out, it's a story about how HomeFundIt helps people, and your branding goes right along with it. Super easy to share these. You're just clicking the share button and people can get right back in touch with you after they view it. So this is kind of a self-contained marketing piece that goes out. There are 7 of these in there, all different stories about how HomeFundIt has helped people. And I encourage people to share these on every Friday, put them out there on social media. As you can see, my branding on this one here, and just click the share button at the bottom underneath, and it opens up a share on Facebook if I'm logged in. I'm just going to put some call to action copy here at the top, and I'll show you how to get that. And then you just hit the blue button to share it, and it goes right in your social media timeline. Just like that, you've done your marketing for the weekend. Couldn't be better because it's video. It stops people a lot better than a picture does. It's the answer to the #1 problem that most buyers have. That's the down payment, and it points right back to you. And as you know, if you've got a Facebook page, you can boost that post to as many people as you can who don't follow you. So you can target people who use Zillow, or people who are using a mortgage calculator, first-time buyers, things like that. So you can get that in front of all kinds of people that don't follow you. Inside your portal, there's a cool Facebook marketing kit that for every one of those videos, there's a page in that kit that has all the copy that you need for those posts. So you don't even have to be a copywriting genius. You just have to be a plagiarizing genius and steal the copy off that page, stick it on the post, hit the post button, and that's your marketing for the weekend. So we've made it super easy because we've kind of pre-written the call to action copy. Easy to get one of these portals. Make sure you write this down, realtor.homefundit.com. You're just going to put in your name, email, pick a password, and you're going to put in some information about your company, pick a name for your site, upload your logo, upload your picture, which you have handy, and then you're going to write a little about me paragraph or copy it in from your website. And then you're just going to select your loan officer from the drop down, and that's what binds your loan officer to your portal. And then when the campaign gets started, you're both featured on that campaign. And then the last thing you have to do is decide whether you want to, or you can, do a dollar-for-dollar pledge towards closing costs up to whatever cap amount that you want. And as you get these campaigns up and running, your buyer will get a weekly email update from you, loan officer as well. So it's branded. They get it every single week. Perfect for really long campaigns and staying in touch with clients. We really try to help you manage that upper pipeline. And it's going to give them an update on how much they have raised and how much they've shopped, encourages them to share their campaign. That's really one of the most important things that they can do. And then anytime somebody donates or shares or shops, there's a trigger email that goes out that explains, hey, somebody just shared, somebody just shopped. So a lot of activity on these over a long period of time, and it keeps you in front of people. Really important. So make sure you get one of these portals to get people started at realtor.homefundit.com. Now, loan officers don't have a portal, but what they do have is a custom URL. So if you're not working with a real estate agent yet on a deal, you can get your custom URL on the Marketing Hub in the Tools section. And then we can add the real estate agent later. But it's important to have a realtor portal because it really is the best branded way to get someone started on the program. A little bit here on the corporate affinity opportunity, then we'll do a quick wrap up. Corporate affinity opportunity really is where you're working with an organization who wants to help their people become homeowners. And they've got to really want to help, I mean, financially with the down payment. And if you know a HR director or a president or owner of a company that wants to help their people become homeowners, let's talk, because we've got a special portal that we can set up for them. Basically just get them familiar with how the program works. And then what we can do is sit down and do a meeting to walk them through what we have is called the Affinity Portal. You're looking at 4 examples of them here. The upper right one is Graceland University. They're out in southern Iowa. It's where Caitlyn Jenner actually went to college. They use it. This is a picture that they've uploaded from their campus. And they use it for employees who are coming to work at the university that want to buy houses in the area. It's a rural area in southern Iowa, beautiful area. Bridges in Madison County area, if you're familiar with that movie. The one in the middle right, the yellow one, is the Hero Fund. They're part of an organization called HAMRA. They're a 20,000 person company that franchises Wendy's, Panera, and Noodles and Company. So lots of employees in the fast food business use this, and they are helping with anywhere between $1,000 and $2,500 towards the down payment. We've got a builder on the lower left that actually uses it as well, and we've got another restaurant chain up in the upper left there, a restaurant chain from the Northeast called Busboys and Poets. So basically, they can help their people become homeowners by putting a little in. That is required, some kind of a match from the company. The HR person behind the scenes controls all of the people that are in the program. It controls all the collateral, and all the leads coming in go to one loan officer and one real estate agent. So if you've got one of these relationships you want to try to develop, we can help you with this. We just brought on a big hospital chain in the Southeast, and they're helping their people as well. So if that's the situation, we can certainly put something together. Now, there is a really interesting intersection between that affinity portal idea that we just talked about and the wedding idea that we just talked about. And that is with groups of people who are sort of wedding service providers, like wedding planners, bridal shop owners, wedding photographers. Those people can all set up a page, because guess what? They're dealing with future home buyers too, right? In fact, those people happen to be walking around these wedding expos. They have tables at the wedding expos, right? Because they're trying to sell their services to the same group of future homeowners. You can have them set up these pages. They can match into the down payment, right? If you use my services as a wedding planner, I'll put $500 in your down payment fund. And I'll give you the platform to raise the down payment as well. So it's a fantastic way to kind of merge this affinity idea and this wedding idea, because you've got a very rich target audience who's walking around interacting with these businesses. So it's a really, really cool idea that's really just surfaced this year, and we're seeing a lot of activity there. We have a lot of materials there as well. So to kind of start to wrap up here, today, when you're meeting buyers, traditionally, they're down here at the end of this long journey, and they reach out to a loan officer and real estate agent relatively late in the game, right? Kind of as they get into the run-up to buying a house. Well, with HomeFundIt, flip that on its head. You're starting at the very beginning when people are just dreaming of buying a house. That is the ideal time to set somebody up on a HomeFundIt campaign, because it gives them time to maybe even first shop with Up It while they're still in college or something, and then transition into regular fundraising as they start to get a little bit closer to buying a house. They're always going to finish early because they are getting help from outside by definition, right? They're always going to finish sooner than they would if it was a total DIY project. So you're locking people in earlier, you're speeding up the process, and you're taking a deal off the table that your competitors can no longer have because they're in your pipeline. You're working with them. You don't control their timeline, they do. But what you can control is your relationship with that person. And HomeFundIt gives you the foundation for a great relationship along the way. It all boils down to encouraging people to set up a campaign page the minute you meet them and find out they want to be a homeowner. There's no expiration date. There's no expiration on the funds. They can start as early as you want. We don't care how long these things run. It's just that you're working with them along the way. And the longer they have, the more donors they can bring to the table, the more funds they can raise, and the more points of referral you're generating along the way. So start early. So key takeaways for you guys. You can help your client be ready to buy sooner, stronger, and for you, you can set these long-range home buyers on a path that's connected to you. For your clients, it's a game changer, because when you show them the difference between old down payment gifting, paper, hassle, gift letters, slow, want to just kind of reject the whole thing except for mom and dad, now you take the friction out of that process, right? And anybody can give. You give them enough time, all kinds of possibilities start to pop up because they really want to buy a house, right? They'll think of people and ways to work it into those conversations. Come check out my page, right? And there's two ways people can help: donations, shopping, or both. And there's 4 key steps to getting this thing going. If you're a realtor or if you're a loan officer who has real estate agents, make sure to set up a realtor portal. That's the best place to start. And then start working it into every conversation. Again, there's a lot of first-time buyers walking around out there. You want to have those conversations as soon as you can and have them set up a campaign page as soon as you can. And for your older clients, it's a great conversation to have with a client who's aging in place, who has kids coming up through college, starting that first job. Great way to reconnect with those clients. They're probably not going to move anytime soon, but what you can do is have a really great value-added sort of financial planning type conversation with that client and get access to that next generation of buyers. And then there's some basic things, you know, posting those videos, emailing links to your portal people, kind of getting the word out, even little things like signature block with a link to your portal, etc. And that's HomeFundIt, the real estate agent portal, the program itself, corporate affinity opportunity. Hope you found that interesting. I see a few questions coming in here, so I will try to dispense with those. Fire questions in as quickly as you can, and we'll get those on the road. Question about, can you take the funds out if you need to? Yeah, absolutely. HomeFundIt gift funds are no different than other gift funds in that it belongs to the person receiving the gift funds. If you've gotten a check versus if you've gotten the money in on HomeFundIt, it's still your money either way. So if you decide to pull all the money out and go to Vegas, that's your call. You could have done it before with a paper check too. So we can't stop you from using your money. However, once people start donating on a HomeFundIt platform, we rarely see exits because people have invited someone to come in, help with a down payment, a gift has been made, and that person really feels obligated to buy a house, right? They're really committed, and by the time they're inviting their family and friends in, they really want to buy the house and they're really looking for that help. So we rarely see exits except for in real emergency type cases like health issues or divorce, disasters, things like that. It's actually kind of a retention tool because there's a $2,000 pot at the end that they're trying to get as well. And so they kind of don't want to take the money out. We almost never see it. But again, if they need to, it is theirs. In fact, when campaigns get canceled, which again is rare, more often than not, the buyer will ask us to return the funds to the donors, which we can do electronically versus dump the money out. How long can a person have a campaign open, an account open? As long as they want. These campaigns never expire. Again, that's one of the great things about the program that allows you to reach way up the funnel and grab people that are not ready to buy a house today. What's the site for clients to sign up? The best place for clients to sign up is on a realtor portal. So if you're a real estate agent, set up a realtor portal, bring them in that way. It's going to be co-branded with you and the loan officer. If you're a loan officer and you have no real estate agent, you'll need to work with one. But if you don't have a real estate agent on the deal, it happens. You have a custom HomeFundIt URL from the HomeFundIt URL builder. And basically that allows you to offer that URL to people. And when they start a campaign there, it's going to be branded with just the loan officer. And we can add in the realtor later if they have a realtor portal. Quick break here. I'm going to put in the chat. Down at the bottom of the chat is a link to a HomeFundIt starter kit. So if you look in chat, there's a zip file link there that's going to download onto your computer, unpack it. And inside there's an FAQ document, the infamous cheat sheet. There's a couple quick start documents, copy of this presentation, sample consumer flyer. We've got tons more on Surefire, and a sample realtor portal flyer that encourages people to set up a realtor portal. So check out the starter kit. If you have trouble with that link, email me and I'll send you one on email. Sometimes this chat panel corrupts it depending on your system. What happens to the account if they never end up closing? The money just stays there. So if they don't close, let's say they decide to back away from a deal, or the loan doesn't get approved, the money just stays there until they use it. They can pull it out if they want to, but again, most people that have actually raised down payment funds from family and friends, they rarely walk away. Secondary question, can funds go to closing costs or just down payment? Yeah, if there's an overage of down payment dollars, which we don't see very often, funds can be used, gift funds can be used for down payment or for closing costs. So if they raise too much in the down payment category. Again, I don't see that very often, but it's technically it can happen. Can't go the other way. So the $2,000 credit from CMG or joint venture partners cannot go towards the down payment. That part can only be used, lender credit can only be used for closing costs. Okay, another question came in. How long can a person have the account open? Unlimited. So again, set these up sooner the better. That is the one key learning of all key learnings here. and it's good for you because the earlier you start somebody on this, the more time they have to raise funds, the more points of referral you're generating because they're bringing in more donors. And those referral points will build your business down the road. So it allows you to lock people up earlier, and it allows you to generate bigger downstream flows of business because you're connected to more people. And we're just about to launch a project where we're going to be actually campaigning to the donors on your behalf. So we'll be sending out emails to people who donate saying, hey, your friends just closed on their home. Hey, it's been 3 months since your friends closed on their home. Thanks again. 6 months, 1 year, and they'll have your branding on it. So the more people donate, the more people you're going to be able to market to automatically after these campaigns. It's going to be really exciting. So fun stuff. Okay, any other questions? Just FYI, I did record this, and I will have it up on the shared recording link, which I can give you or you can get. Should have that probably by early next week after it compiles. Okie doke. I don't see any other questions coming in, so I'll let you guys go. Thank you again for being with us today, and I hope you found it interesting. We're here to help you along the way. If you've got presentations you want to do for your branch, let me know. I just finished one, and I got another one here in 30 minutes. If you've got a real estate branch or a loan officer branch you want to do a dedicated call with where you can just have just a meeting format, happy to do those. I do them all week long. And so let me know and we'll get that set up. In the meantime, go out and make it a great, safe weekend, and we'll see you out there on the HomeFundIt trail in the days and weeks ahead. Talk to you later, folks.